Hey y'all, welcome to Hillbilly Garage. Well, we're gonna make our next move on this dump truck deal. We're gonna go into the carburetor here and make sure that all of the jets, the squirters, the ports are just clean, no varnish or anything in it. Uh, put a few new gaskets in and just generally clean it up. Make sure that there's no trash in the bowls and things like that. I have to admit, though, it's been a really long time since I've pulled a carburetor. This one, it don't look to be, it's probably not all that bad. I mean, you can see the bottom plates still, fairly clean. Down inside, it's really not gunked up. Of course, it's got the road dirt on the outside, but I'd say we're probably not going to find it too bad a shape. We'll start with the jets here. Not too off bad. I don't have any idea what size these rods are. Go with the tune that it's got in it, and then we'll decide if we need to make changes at some other point. But like I said, mostly I just want to make sure that there's no trash in this thing. The bowls are clean. Make sure that the floats are adjusted fairly well. And so we're just going to get into it and see what we find here. Should probably take my accelerator pump out of the way first. Again, like I said, it's been a long time since I've done this, so y'all gonna have to bear with. We'll take a look at that accelerator pump we get in there. Feels a little sticky. Edelbrocks are, I don't know, a lot of people don't think they're very good carburetors. Uh, Honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't have a personal preference for any of them really, but I know that Edelbrocks are a little bit easier to tinker with. They're a lot easier to adjust on because these jet rods that we pulled out, these are vacuum operated, and those are what adjust the fuel that gets metered through the carburetor. And you don't have to take the whole carburetor apart in order to make those adjustments. You just open these little doors right here. And when you get a rebuild kit, which all I got was a gasket kit, it comes with a chart that helps you with information on on how to make those adjustments. Oh, more rods that I forgot to take apart. Well, floats don't have fuel stuck in them. They are not adjusted the same. It's supposed to be about 7/16 of an inch from this gasket to the float. And I don't know if y'all can see that, but this one's just a hair lower, which it's not really that big a deal to adjust it. It's just bending the brackets, really all it is. And then what we'll do is I'll have to measure that, but we want to see how much drop we have, and that looks to be a little excessive. So we're going to have to adjust on that. That's the accelerator pump. And it's soft and pliable. It's all in one piece. It's probably in pretty good shape. Just need to wipe the shaft off a little bit. The spring that goes with it. And wow, the float bowls are actually really clean. So that's a good sign. No trash buildup down in them. Light. Because as clean as this looks, oh yeah. Secondary jets look to be in good shape. Primary jets, pretty good shape. Alright, so we're just going to leave them alone. Like I said, we're just making sure that our squirters are not clogged or blocked. This is the squirter jets for the accelerator pump. There's a little channel that goes down across. It comes up through here. So I just want to make sure that there is no trash blocking in here anywhere. I don't really expect to yet because, you know, so far everything seems to be fairly clean. I am going to change this gasket. And I bought some carburetor cleaner. What do I do with it?
That is a good question.
It's a really good question. Oh, here we go. Just took the carburetor cleaner and put the hose right there. Give her a little shot. Just watch for the fluid to come out of there. Pretty simple.
So you can tell everybody in YouTube world, it's our 1-year anniversary. Not ours, but Hillbilly Garage.
Today is our 1-year anniversary?
Well, I don't know about today, but
this
July
week
is officially when we started our business.
Okay. So the business anniversary.
Yes.
But we started the channel before that, right?
We started the channel like February or March of last year, I think.
See, you guys get a homegrown insight on some of our conversations. She's got one thought in her head, and I hear her saying something totally different. But that's how we roll.
That is how we roll.
and it works for us. It's good because, you know, it keeps things interesting. We have good conversations. So, yes, it's 1 year since we actually started our business, R&B Engine Revivals. The channel actually started a little bit before that.
But in about a year, we've
So,
gained over 1,000 subscribers.
yeah,
Thank you to every one of you.
It was somewhere in the neighborhood of the anniversary of our channel that we hit 1,000 subscribers. That was fantastic. But of course, you know, we always want to thank all of you each and every day for being here, for being along for the ride, throwing in the comments. So that's really some of the most fun of it for me, is getting to talk to some of you all that stop in and visit, ask questions about what's going on. I really, really enjoy hearing from the people that have been able to take something that we've done and put it into action under their hood. That I really, really like that, because that's kind of the whole point of this thing. Uh, Evidently, we got a whole lot of fans out there running Hemis in various types of vehicles.
Yeah, our most watched video is our Hemi fuel injector video.
Yeah. Evidently, that must be a fairly common occurrence. But I think what we've also found is a lot of people are starting the process with the switching the coal, switching the spark plugs, changing out injectors. And then we also have heard from many that they're moving on to cam and lifters, because we all know that that is something that us Hemi owners have to deal with. Unfortunately, that gasket is stuck. I'm going to have to work on that in a minute.
If you have a project you're working on and you need assistance rebuilding your engine, give us a call. We'll do it for you.
Yeah, you can go to the website, hillbillygarage1215.biz, and you can check out what other services that we have through R&B Engine Revival. We have some projects on the rise. Right behind me here is a 5.7 Hemi that I will be finishing short block on pretty soon, minus camshaft. So if you're in the market for a 5.7 Hemi, non-MDS, you should give us a shout. We'll talk about it.
And it will have a cam in it. He just means you choose the cam you want in it.
You pick out your camshaft, non-MDS, of course, because I'm sorry, I'm just not going to build an MDS engine. It's just not worth it.
And you pick your lifters, right?
Yeah. You get your camshaft and the lifters that go with it, and we can finish assembling the short block.
Or bring us your tired 5.7 Hemi or 6.4 Hemi, and we'll completely tear it down and rebuild it for you. Make it run like a champ.
Actually, any engine for that matter.
Or you can buy one of our rebuilt engines and give us your core and swap them out. And there's lots of options. Buy one of our Ronnie original
Hillbilly Garage tools.
Yeah. You've got the wrench for the Hemi. And you've got
cam bearing tool wrench.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking of the socket thing, I think.
Oh, also, yes, I have an extra deep socket that will fit over the studs that hold your windage tray. Because on a Hemi, your regular sockets will not reach it. So I custom built a deeper socket that'll fit that. I also made some to fit 5.7 Chevrolet with windage tray. But I did discover though that if you can buy a deep enough 5/8 socket, I found this out unexpectedly the other day, and it's a Craftsman, extra deep, and it will fit. So, or you can get one of the Hillbilly Garages, and it's even a little bit deeper than that. But I'm going to spray a little spray and clean a little gasket, and we'll be right back. All right, y'all. I went all through and I cleaned everything up. I got all the old gasket material off of the boosters. And what I did, and pretty simple, is you just take your carburetor cleaner and you go through where your boosters get their fuel from, and it should give you fuel back through your primary jet, and then you go through your jet and get fuel back this way, or spray back this way. You just spray through both sides, and that makes sure that there's no trash trapped in here anywhere. Okay, then you can go through your air bleeds, or air mixture screws, and you just make sure that you're getting fuel coming through those little cuts down there. All right, spray in here, make sure it's coming up where your accelerator pump is and backwards, vice versa. Make sure that the float bowls were all clean, but they were in pretty good shape. So that thing cleaned up pretty nice. A little bit of gasket in here, had to clean it out. Now, so take the floats off. You just slide the pin out of the way. Float comes off. You got your needle valve. Okay. And then you take the old gasket off. It's right here. Lay your new one in. Put your needle valves back in. Put your pivot pins back in. Now, first thing we want to do is we need to measure our float height. What I did is it's 7/16 is float height, 15/16. That's these two red marks. That's going to be the drop. We'll do that in a second. So you want to measure with your gasket compressed to the bottom edge of your float. And that one is pretty well correct. As I suspected though, when we first looked at it, this one is not. You can see it's only a 16th. It ain't a lot, but we want to make sure that we get these the same. And the way that you adjust the float for height is you just hang on to this brass piece here, and then you bend a little. All right, we got that one right.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll just turn around. You stay right behind me. All right. Next thing we want to do is we need to measure drop, which is the other red mark, the 15/16. And that's pretty simple to tell before I even put it up there. Y'all know what I'm going to find. It is way too much drop. That's, that's good 1/4 inch. Now be careful when you're turning this air horn back over because these pins, they're just sitting there. So if you turn it the wrong way, you're going to end up dropping it. Now, the way that you adjust it for drop is you need to bend this little pin right here. And if you can reach in there with some sort of a tool and bend it without, without too much trouble, then that's an option for you. But since we were going 1/4 inch, that's pretty good bend, so I thought maybe I would just start this way. And so now I got a little too much. Ooh. And there we go. 15/16 drop. Okay, now we'll get the other one adjusted and I'll be right back. All right, we got our weight, our floats adjusted for lift and drop. Something I forgot to show y'all before we jumped off camera there a minute ago is when you take the booster for your accelerator pump out, you'll have this check ball and weight are down in this hole. So you kind of gotta just put your hand over it, dump them out in your hand so they don't go rolling across the floor. But check ball is just to keep fuel from it going in only one direction. You drop that down in the hole, you put the weight on top of it. Now, this gasket, put that onto your accelerator pump booster and into place. Start the screws back. And something I didn't explain, which probably maybe was better, but I laid these towels out and then set the carburetor in the middle and I disassembled it and I laid things out in the perimeter around where it came from to help me remember to make sure that they go back in the same spot. That would be extremely important if we had pulled the primary and secondary jets out, which they're fine, they're clean. We're not making any changes, so we left those alone. But if you did, then you'd want to make sure that you put them on your towel, in the quadrant where they come from, and make sure that they go back. All right, we're going to go ahead and set our weighted doors back into place. All right, take our primary booster from this side. We'll line our gasket up. Drop it into place. And just like anything else we tighten down, we want to walk them down even. You know, you don't have to put no gorilla torque on this stuff. Just, you know, you want to make sure that your gasket gets seated good. And our new gasket. For secondary booster. Drop it into place. Alright, we're going to work our way on around with these boosters and we'll be right back. Alright, got all the boosters back in. Here's your tip of the day. Don't lay your booster screws too close to your air horn screws. They're not the same length. Okay?
You learned from experience?
So, if you drop the screw in the booster and you look and you only see just a tiny bit of threads before it starts to tighten in, you've got an air horn screw. So get that out of there. Get that taller one that's going to have quite a bit of thread showing. So then you're in good shape. Okay, back on track. Here we go. We got to put our baffles into place. Okay. Now we are ready to set our horn back on. And slip my rod back into place. Make sure it sets all the way down so nothing's in a bind. Now we can put our shorter screws back in our air horn. Well, here's something interesting I meant to show y'all earlier. This was in place on this big vacuum port when I pulled it, started tearing it apart, and the top part just came off in my hand, and the other part was already split. So that wasn't holding any vacuum. So we'll definitely have to get a new vacuum cap for that. Again, we want these tight, but we don't want to strip them, so just want to walk them up till we get a good firm feel on when we turn it. That way we know that the gasket is completely pressed in place without stripping anything out. Alright, next we'll get our accelerator pump linkage hooked up here. Generally to start, it's got 3 holes, and just start with your middle hole. That gives you a healthy shot without, being too awful crazy. If you need a little more shot, you can move it up to the first hole. If you want a little less, second hole. Last hole. Tiny little hairpin keeper pin on there. Gotta get this other one on here.
I'm not sure how small that is. It's pretty small.
Yep. Tiny little pin holding the world. Not really, but it is pretty important. It just keeps that connector rod from falling out of its hole. Alright, I'm going to take our primary jet rods. Whoops. That don't go in there. It goes in there. And you just push it down. Swing your little flap into place. That only needs to be snug. Now we just need to put our extra screws back in. Now when I pulled these out, they had them at 1 3/4 turn and 1 1/4 turn. So we're gonna start at about 1 3/4, 1 1/2. We'll go from there. All right. When I took those screws out, they had them set at 1 3/4 turn on the left and 1 1/4 turn on the right. But I'm going to go ahead and start them at about 1 3/4 2. and then we'll just go from there. Something I forgot to tell y'all, the primary jet rods, I just took a little bit of Scotch-Brite, cleaned the rod out, make sure there's nothing on it, and I did it on the air bleed screws as well. Alrighty, so now we got her all back together. We just want to make sure that everything is functioning and nothing's in a bind. We got no extra parts laying around the table.
Lift that up.
What?
Oh, it's grass. Never mind.
So there we have it. She's all good and clean. We know that all the orifices in the boosters are all clean, and made sure that the accelerator pump is clean so that it should get a shot, and the pump looked like it's okay, so I think we're going to be all right. So we got her all cleaned up, ready to go, ready to put it back on the truck. So we appreciate everybody. Y'all have a good evening. Like, subscribe. Go to the website, hillbillygarage1215.biz. Get you some t-shirt stickers, some Hillbilly Garage tools. Communicate with us. Check on services for R&B Engine Revival. And we'll see y'all. Bye.